Hey, Comic-Con fans, how are you? This is Dory, coming live from the set of The Hobbit. Stay classy, San Diego.
Hi, Comic-Con. John Callan here. I play Oin in The Hobbit.
Evni Yana du Shute, ni Comic-Con.
Hi, this is Dwalin saying a big hi to all of you in Comic-Con. Greetings from the very heart of Middle-earth. A really amazing moment for me, I guess. It was the first time we stepped on the bag in. It's become so embedded in your psyche from what you've seen before. We're all ready to go, and Ian came on for the first time, and you look at him and you go, my God, that's Gandalf.
I look back on that with fondness because we got to know each other on Bag In, and we really got to know each other as dwarves.
Hi Comic-Con, it's Adam Brown here, aka Ori from The Hobbit set. One of the most exciting things, I think, for me was working on these sets that kind of are part of our history. And there was I, working on Rivendell with some incredible actors.
Just watching Cate Blanchett act, it was very moving. We had shivers down our spines. It was absolutely astonishing.
It's been a privilege being back in Middle-earth.
Hey, Comic-Con. Hope you're having a good time. My name is Lee Pace. I play the Elven King, Thranduil. Some of the work that I really loved was with Terry Notary, who designs movement for the different races. And the way the elves move is very different than the way the dwarves move, obviously. It was really fun to get into that character and really move in a way that is not human.
Yeah. Sylvester McCoy, who played Radagast, is the loveliest man.
I think that Sylvester's going to be one of the delights of these movies.
The real McCoy.
I remember going out to Trentham and wandering through the 100 metres of forest that they built and seeing Roscabel, which is Radagast's house.
Radagast's character was a lovely, spirited wizard, and his house really reflected his character beautifully.
Dale was beautiful. It really was like being in another country.
It was very Moroccan, Turkish, sort of Italian.
Yeah. Dale was one of the larger sets.
It rivals some of the biggest sets we've ever built, which would have been Minas Tirith and Helm's Deep, I guess, in the old days.
The city of Dale was such a huge set. You were able to just wander around as if you were in some abandoned city you've always wanted to visit.
The most fun I've had on set would probably be the Goblins. Goblin Town, the sets just seem to be really sharp and really angular and lots of flames and lots of bones.
We were introduced to the Great Goblin.
Well, Barry Humphries is something of an iconic legend in this part of the world, and I've seen 2 or 3 of his Stay in Edna stage shows, and Barry and the Goblin King just seem to be a natural fit.
Have you seen the pile of intestines?
Oh, no, but I'll go and check them out.
I don't know if anyone's home, but we'll soon see.
I found Beorn's house absolutely mesmerising. It's one of my favourite parts of the book, and the creation, the carving that they did inside that beautiful barn, and everything was so oversized.
I want to write the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
We built it to the scale of the dwarves, so it was huge, and it made all of us feel small. You used to be able to stand on that set and look at the crew setting up the camera, and they looked like tiny little people. It was kind of incredible.
Morning, everyone. Happy last day. Morning. What we're doing for this shot is we're going to get Orlando up on here. Somebody stuck something to my back. What is it?
Second unit, I think we're a bit of the rock and roll unit, and, you know, we have a bit of fun.
Greg's shorts, I think.
Boy, just loop it, bro. Just loop it. No problem.
I'm disturbed.
It's like an 8-year-old schoolboy.
What do you mean it's like an 8-year-old schoolboy?
He's a rock star.
He has got energy to burn, and that infectious enthusiasm and his absolute dedication made a huge difference to the second unit.
And crank it up. And in 3, 2, 1, action! And cut! That is a wrap for the second unit. Second unit!
There's a mixture of emotions.
Good to finish, but sad at the same time.
Quite frankly, I can't imagine this occurring anywhere else on the planet, so thank you from the bottom of my heart.
One of the memories that really sticks in my head the most is walking in through the gates of Stone Street at 4:45 in the morning when it's dark and there's no one else here and the stars are still out, and then slowly the studio comes to life and the sun comes up. I saw a lot of those days.
You're going to be getting up at 5:30 in the morning for a year and a half, at least 12 hours a day.
Morning.
You literally just wake up every morning and go shoot a movie, and it seems to last a lifetime.
This is the kind of movie where it changes everybody's lives.
What we do is kind of driven by adrenaline, so we keep going until we collapse.
We've got ready about 20 people a day, and that's about 5,000 prosthetic makeups.
We're busy, but sometimes we get bored being busy.
In the last 18 months, we've probably gone through about 20 litres of glue, about 450 miles of yak hair, hence there are now a lot of cold yaks in the Himalayas somewhere.
I've never worked on such a hairy movie. Even I'm sporting a beard now, and I've never had a beard before, so it's obviously sort of rubbing off somewhere along the line.
Just the sheer amount of lead characters with costumes. For some reason, they all want to wear costumes. They all want pants, they all want shoes made for an enormous amount of costumes.
All of these clothes to nearly the back of the truck is Bilbo.
The Smorgs lair, we used so much gold paint, they used everything in Australasia, and we had to get it from Germany. Wunderbar.
22,817,520 feet if we were shooting 35mm like this. And I'm really glad we're not.
I'm sure that I've done over 2,500 drawings. I kept my pencil stubs.
You're literally doing a drawing one day and then walking on the sets a few days later.
We shoot a set, take it out and replace it for the very next day's shoot.
They put up the most incredible sets. You walk in the night before and it's not finished and you think, oh my God, how are we ever going to be in here tomorrow filming? And yet you walk in 8 o'clock the next morning and it's ready to go.
To me, that's probably one of the most gratifying things on this whole picture, that all these people force through impossible odds and create these beautiful things.
Wow.
Yes. I'll miss the camaraderie of the folks that we've built up in the cast and crew. You know, we've spent an awful long time together. There's like sort of 12 or 13 of us who have been in a mini army.
Well, I mean, they're all people I would love to work with again. Fantastic cast.
I'm surrounded by these mates. I'm surrounded by my comrades. I'm surrounded by these great actors.
Please, not every time. Get off. You get so close that you're able to freely abuse them on a daily basis and they don't seem to mind.
And that's the poster.
There are very high quality of human beings involved.
Pretty soon we won't be all together as a gang, which is going to be sad. We'll all miss each other terribly.
You're getting to come to work with a group of people that you love working with, that you love hanging out with. It's a real family.
What's this in our laundry? Look at that. Oh!
Red-handed! What happens on The Hobbit stays on The Hobbit.
Finishing up in Lakewood today, eh?
It's the old, finish the bang. Look out!
I miss you, man.
Okay, and action.
I need a horse.
Why? Where are you going?
In search of answers.
Alright, okay. Well, unless anybody has anything else they want to shoot, I think we should pull that a day. Thank you.
Well, obviously, I just want to say thank you to everybody, an incredible cast, incredible crew. Seems like a lifetime ago that I had to do this speech at the beginning of the shoot. Oh, God, it was a long time ago. You know, as a director, it can be kind of a lonely job. You know, at times you feel like you're by yourself trying to solve problems, but then everybody steps in and suddenly I realise I've got this incredible support and all of you guys have got my back and you're behind me, and for that I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you. Yeah, Peter's Bubbles right next door. It's been a terrific atmosphere shooting this movie, and I hope the vlogs have in some way given you all a chance to share in that and to experience it for yourselves. And we'll be continuing in post-production. The energy, the environment, everything's going to be very, very different, but it's still got the equal amount of challenges. So look forward to seeing you during post-production. It's just lemonade, honestly.
Come on, show some love. Put your arm around the person next to you. Show me.
Welcome to the theatre at Park Road Post. This is our post-production facility in Wellington, and this is where we're spending a huge amount of time at the moment, just working on getting The Hobbit finished. It's due to be completed literally 2 days before the premiere, hopefully. So we'll give you a look at where we're at with post-production. You're going to see a lot of sleep-deprived people in this vlog. Everyone's working around the clock to get the film finished. So everything begins at editorial.
So here's the bunker, editorial. I am Dan Best. I'm the first assistant editor on The Hobbit. So next door to us is the cutting room. Jabez and Peter are in there busy cutting film 2 at the moment.
We were shooting this with 150 people on the set, and then here we are sitting here, and it just comes down to Jabez and I, 2 of us. The last 2 men standing get to edit the movie, so it's quite a relaxing and enjoyable process. And while you're putting that together, I'm going to make another cup of tea. When Jabez has something very simple to do that doesn't need me around, I get the cups and go make a cup of tea and come back and it's all done. Very good.
Hey, welcome to Preppers. Come on in. Christian's just down this way.
We're sort of the front-end creative team that Pete uses to design a lot of his shots.
We are animating the camera and the characters around to form what's kind of like 3D storyboards, almost at a video game level.
Typically you do your previs before your shoot. Obviously they finished principal photography and we're still prevising a few shots. We've just got a shot turned over from Peter. This is what we get from editorial sometimes. Basically we get a blank card that says something like CG wide shot, goblins slowly move torture machines towards the Great Goblin's platform. And we've got to turn this stuff around pretty quickly. There's Christian over here at our previs. We just got a shot turned over that we need some torture machines. Cheers, thanks. Yeah, usually they're pretty quick. Here we go. We have from Weta Workshop some torture machine designs. We need to get these modelled pretty quick, guys.
It'll be a minute or 2.
Yeah, a minute. Jerry, what are you doing?
I'm making a 3D extravaganza. It wouldn't be a good shot if we didn't have sound effects, though.
The model's coming through yet?
Yep, here it is.
Jerry, can we get textures on that?
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. Already on it.
Already on it?
Almost down.
So the thing is, you know, I've got to turn the stuff around pretty quickly because, you know, the film delivers in like 8 weeks. What do you do there?
I just stare at code all day.
So Iggy, you got your torture machines. How's the shot going?
Yeah, sorry it took so long, but I think this is going to work.
Yeah? Okay, cool. No, it's pretty good. We should send it to Pete and see what he says. Cool.
It'll be a really cool moment.
Okay.
That's good, Dave. Yeah.
We just got PJ notes. We're off to talk to a few of the supervisors about what we have to do now on a few extra shots.
This is the original building that we had on Lord of the Rings. For Hobbit, now we've expanded to 8 different buildings.
It used to be an insane asylum, right?
Yes, this used to be an insane asylum. Still, days like this, it feels like it even so. We're at the 6.5 week mark. Not much time left to finish this one. We're at Wexford Road now. This is the original production office for Lord of the Rings, but now it's the home of all the animators for Hobbit.
So the troll sequence, definitely one of the biggest animation challenges. They're speaking, which is something new for trolls.
Are there any more of you little fellas hiding where you shouldn't?
In rings, they're always only ever grunting. Peter shot it live action on the mocap stage.
Are any more of you little fellas hiding where you shouldn't?
Pete liked the action, but wanted to go a little bit bigger on what the stunt guys were doing.
So maybe we do a custom mocap shoot for just those bits.
That felt good. I'm happy with that. Okay, should we move on?
We've advanced the art of motion capture quite substantially on The Hobbit, including the detail of motion capturing individual hairs of dwarfs' beards.
Alright, come on in. Welcome to the Department of Internal Beard Hairs. We're going to tell you a little bit about what we do here. Kev, can we get you to paint, please? Having beards on set is rather dangerous. Incredibly dangerous. We've lost a lot of good beards. That's right. So we've created a virtual beard in the computer, and what that allows us to do... Whoa, layman's terms, please. Sorry. We have a beard in the computer. Motivation here. It's dark. It's stormy. Okay. You're in the mountains. Action. Wind. Rain. Lightning bolts. And cut.
So this looks great. Can we go ahead and propagate this?
Right. So what I can do is just by pushing this one button here, and voila, you can see that the beard has now been propagated throughout the film.
It's the power of beard capture technology.
Right.
I don't think there's anybody working harder at the moment probably than the Weta Digital artists who have got several hundred CGI shots to do in the last few weeks of post-production.
We have a lot of shots to deliver each week. In fact, the most shots Weta has really ever delivered. Good luck. Let's break the record.
Have a great week.
Well, it's Saturday at Wexford Road. The first thing we have to do each morning is release the animators. So, should we do that? Are we ready? Are they there?
Wake up! Wakey, wakey!
Come on, sleep is for the weak! Sleep is for the weak! Don't even bother getting dressed.
If people don't have to leave, we're happy for them to stay. We have people that give massages here. We actually do laundry for people. They get 3 meals.
Scrambled eggs. Young conceptual artists eat when they can.
A concept artist's work is never done, especially on a big effects movie like this. We're still conceptualizing after having been here for 3 years. As long as there's still a shot that has an empty spot, whether it's green or whether it needs something in front, or you just keep at it. And we're painfully conscious that behind us are considerable teams of people waiting for our work to do the 3D and the texturing and the lighting and the animation.
The big house where we're going now is where we've put in the Goblin team. That's the Goblin Mobile right there, Chris White's vehicle.
It's exactly the same car my grandmother has.
It was apparently a reform school. Supposedly people tell me that they see ghosts in here and that there's claw marks down in the basement.
So come in if you dare.
So what Peter was looking for was to create this whole world underground. So we're creating this goblin town with all these different structures and light and walkways and fires. And so this is some of the work in progress.
A lot of what we're doing on this guy is beauty lighting, because we got to really highlight all of his warts and all that good stuff. He's quite hideous, but he has to look beautiful at the same time.
Here at Park Road Post-Production, just down the corridor, we've got Andrew Lesney, our DP, doing the colour timing of the film.
Hi, and welcome to the DI. Yesterday we made chicken laksa, and today we're going to cook up a pad thai. DI is short for digital intermediate. This is part of a process which is called the colour grading. It is like Photoshop for motion pictures. This is the exterior of Bag End. We filmed this shot in Matamata. We didn't have the most ideal weather on the day, but the landscape is still very beautiful, so we actually are just working the original material on this one.
Essentially what we do is we start with the raw plate, and then we're building up basically a layered grade, and the result is what you see there.
We also have these dueling lasers, so we can do this bit of grass right there, distinct from this bit over here. We've got these lights up for the blog, but traditionally we work in a much darker environment, and we actually work in an environment that's in fact even darker than this, but mimics a cinema.
Hi, you're at Park Road Post, and this is where we're doing the sound for The Hobbit. Let's go and have a look. We start the day with a dance. That's the first thing we do in sound. And we hand it on. Chris, take the floor.
We did fader dance.
Fader dance, yeah.
You can see Dave's cut 16 layers of sounds for this goblin. And he does such a cool job that see what else I can do to it, which is fun and challenging.
I think a lot of people don't understand about how a film gets made, and that how many people it actually takes to piece a soundtrack together. We have dialogue, we have music, and in sound effects alone, we break into several categories. Standard sound effects, swords, body falls, doors, things like that. We have ambiences, which is like some wind. We have some crowd sounds, things like that.
What we're doing here today is just put out little friends and family and all the other departments call to come down and be panicked villagers for Dale, for when it gets desolated by smog. That's how we rock it in Soundpost here.
Right. And here, Matt's cutting the crowds and all that sort of stuff. We're on our way. Feels like a scene from The Shining down this hallway. I really wish I had a tricycle. Foley. Oh, we've got the best sounding door.
Foley's a specific part of the soundtrack which relates to humans. Anything associated with what they touch and how they move is recorded by these guys.
Get to bash stuff, break stuff, drag it, stretch it, bend it.
What makes a great Foley track is often the interpretation of the sound rather than the literal sound itself.
Goblin claws. It's just banjo picks.
It makes it very awkward when you go to the toilet in the middle too.
Welcome to Abbey Road, Studio One. This is the place where we make all these fabulous soundtracks, including The Hobbit, and that's what we're doing today. We're back in the studio for a record day. Full orchestra today.
There'll be 93 people in their various sections. This is Howard's conductor's podium, so this is where he stands and directs the orchestra from.
Abbey Road is legendary with its microphone collection.
So here's one that John Lennon sang into
when he was a recording artist at the studio.
I've never had a shot with one here. So look, can you get that?
The musicians will see the music for the first time. They don't rehearse it or anything like that. They just turn up, sheet music is in front of them, and they play.
This is rather important to make sure these get onto the podium.
Here's the control room. It's a real adrenaline rush to be looking out at the orchestra, that we're kind of in control of this fabulous sound. We're happy with that. Let's take a break.
Theatre 2. This is the final mix room. This is where it all comes together.
Well, look who it is.
We all arrive with tons and tons of sounds. Then in the final mix we have to figure out what sound makes sense and what sound doesn't.
You could put a hoarse vocal on the shot to let us know we're there.
But at the end of the day, hopefully we've got clarity and we are telling the story. And I have to say, it's really fun.
Got another 3 weeks and then and another couple films. So the journey's long from over. It's just really starting.
So that's what's happening at the moment. The premiere is very, very close. But fortunately, people are staying calm. They're staying incredibly disciplined, focusing on their work. We are blessed to have such a sane, sensible team. So there we have it. Gives you a taste of where we are at the moment, but we will catch up with you very, very soon and invite you to come along and have a look at our experience at the premieres. Welcome to our new blog. It's been a very busy final few days.
On Sunday, we showed Peter the very last shot of the movie, our last delivery shot, and the last shot of the movie.
Okay. Always a last shot. We kind of finished the movie Sunday morning.
That'll do it.
And just a few hours later, a room full of journalists showed up to see it.
If it was the film terms, we said that it was dripping wet. But it was digitally dripping wet. It was pretty funny on the day that the press started watching the movie to be walking around knowing that we're still working on it.
So should we have lunch and then you guys can from us, right?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. A little bit more work on the Dolby Atmos mix, and so that finished pretty much yesterday morning.
So we're here at the Embassy Theatre. We did a complete retrofit of this historic theatre for Dolby Atmos. So there are 36 total surround speakers in here. There are 28 around the audience, and then there are 8 overhead surrounds. We can now uniquely place sounds either around the audience and even above, but we can also have this really smooth 360-degree movement of sound.
Oh, well, that's good. I think that solves it.
That's about much better.
Yeah.
Welcome to our temporary office set up for the organisation of the Hobbit world premiere here in Wellington. It's probably about 1,500 people, I think, in here, and all the council, art department, all getting ready frantically to have everything in place for the big day.
There's lots of good fun things about working in Middle-earth, but one of the coolest is actually getting to the few weeks before the premiere, because you get to build things like this. We're doing another golem. This is for our local airport. It will be suspended in the roof, welcoming all of the guests that come along to Wellington.
It's been a frantic night, but I think we're pretty much done.
As in tradition, there will be something adorned at the top of the embassy, especially for the premiere.
So our idea right from the beginning was to make a large-scale version of Gandalf making his mark on the green door at Bag End, which really was the start of the journey. This element here is the background to the stage. So on the day we'll install this in such a way that it creates a forced perspective element. So looking through a camera lens, Gandalf will be the same height as me.
The city's definitely got Hobbit fever, and it just really adds to the whole atmosphere of the premiere, and we can't wait. There was just the Hobbit everywhere. Massive banners, flags all down the streets. Just fantastic place. We got to go to the Hobbit market. Wonderful.
What we've got going on here is we've set up a market in Waitangi Park. This is where all the prop makers, fabrics people who made stuff for the Hobbit, everyone's going to display what the night job actually is. We're almost on the eve of the premiere, and very exciting time, of course, for everybody.
It's great catching up with all these guys. Isn't it great? It's like the boys are all back together again. Bad, naughty, boarding school, beatings.
Your buffets are so firm.
It's great to be back in town.
No, there is an energy, there's a buzz, something's happening.
It was a great night last night. The only problem was the MC was just a little mediocre.
Was it? Who was the MC? Oh, I don't know. Some guy called Ted Brody.
We have some very special guests with us here this evening. Mr. Peter Jackson and Mr. Elijah Wood.
Again, thanks very much for all your support. It means a huge amount.
Run by the fans, for the fans really, and they got dressed up to the nines.
It's coming up to the airport now.
Looking forward to seeing ourselves on the side of an aeroplane. That doesn't happen every day.
Apparently they're giving us one of these planes each.
Yeah, I got one.
No, Richard and Martin are getting lifestyle ones. But we're all also very excited to see the remaining dwarves who are coming, embarking from the plane.
Yeah.
We haven't seen for a long time. We were seeing Daniel Gorman, Graham
Graham and Aidan Turner.
No, it's very exciting.
This morning, the branded giant plane from Air New Zealand landed at Wellington, so we had all the talent out there for that. I think they're quite excited to be back. It was quite fun this morning to see them all at the airport and together as one big group. So yeah, it's a reunion of the family. They came back, and we've just been doing what's called a press junket. That's where they do interviews, one-on-ones with the talent, but it's interview after interview after interview with different networks and stations. So it's a long day for them.
Hola, amigos de España.
Hola, lectores del mundo es. Cinemax, me alskino. Shantongwaila.
Hi. Wow.
Hello, all precious...
It's just another day at the office.
Okay.
It is 5 p.m. on the 27th of November. We are hours away from starting the road closures on Courtney Place. We're just getting ready for a long night of installation of red carpet, barriers, big screen TVs, signage, placards, banners, flags, you name it. It's all got to go in overnight, ready for the morning. So once again, it's obviously a big red carpet down Courtney Place. We've had a few movie premieres before this. The one that brings back all the memories is in 2003 when we did The Return of the King for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. We got a Guinness World Record for the longest red carpet at a film premiere at 422 metres. So my aim is to try and break it again, so the guests will be going several times around a block just for the hell of it, just so I can get my Guinness World Record for this movie as well. We want to see a huge turnout, which is going to be amazing. Wellingtonians, residents, people associated with the film industry and filmmakers, but also people coming in from all around the country and in fact all around the world.
We're coming from Germany.
We are from Melbourne, Australia.
I arrived down here about 9:30. I plan on sleeping on the concrete.
And we have our fellowship cloaks to keep us impervious from weather.
Here we are, the day of the premiere. We were driving in here at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and there were so many people already on the red carpet, and this is, 8 hours ahead of time, and a lot of those people had been camping there overnight. It's pretty humbling, really, to think that, on one level I just think we're making a movie, we're making a piece of entertainment, but on the other hand there is this show of support for what we're doing, and we're very, very grateful for that.
Hello, yeah, hello.
I think we've been steered in the wrong direction.
Well, this is the smallest press conference I've ever attended.
There's a couple of big sequences that you might want to, Look, I did that when Barry's goiter was flopping around. It's perhaps that is one of the most horrifying images. But
Hey, coming to you from the Premier Event Team office. The press conference has just finished. We're 4 hours away from the start of the red carpet. And one of the things that's been awesome is that in the build-up we've had the Lord of the Rings trilogy playing right out of our balcony. It's been great.
We have brought out a few elements. There's going to be press segments of sets and props along the carpet.
Every now and again along the way, the actors will have photo opportunities with some of the set dressing, some of the kind of typical hobbitish environments on the way to the cinema, which is another 300 metres up the road.
And also we have some extras dressed up as hobbits.
Lots of ears and wigs and costumes and hairy feet.
Hello.
No problems with the crowd.
Have you had any streakers?
Oh, not yet. I'll be looking out for that.
Well, it's here. It's time. I believe it's almost 4:30. Neil Finn's on the stage. VIP cars are about to arrive, so basically the red carpet's beginning. The media pits are full. The barriers are full of the crowd. I can probably from here must see about 10,000 Gandalf hats on everyone's heads. We're just waiting for the big man to arrive and the rest of the talent, so it's nearly time.
3, 2, 1.
This is for Peter, Fran and Philippa. Thank you. Far over the misty mountains lie we'll see once more. Our kingdom.
How long have you guys been standing here? I hope you put sunscreen on. A little bit.
Like your ears.
Thank you very much for coming.
It is insane. Fans left and right and everywhere you can look, and it's amazing. So much support.
Can I just ask where your shoes came from today?
They came from the floor in the hallway, just underneath where the raincoats hang.
Everyone's still in it.
Here it comes.
Who's that?
Couldn't be more overjoyed for Wellington, and perfect weather, amazing people, amazing folks.
It's nice to be back, isn't it?
Stop signing things.
Well, you can sign it if you want.
I'm going to sign you as well in a minute. That's representing.
We've done it.
Couldn't have done it without you, Zane.
Couldn't do it without you, Joe. I think there's a guy running down here right now with a USB stick just sticking in a projector. Last minute changes. We're walking really slow on the carpet and trying to buy him some time.
Okay, should we bring up some of our actors? I just want to thank you very, very much for coming. Honestly, it means such a lot to all of us here. The last thing I have to do is there's one member of our cast, a very distinguished member who couldn't be here tonight, but he did want to send a greeting to everybody. So let me welcome Sir Ian McKellen.
Hello, this is Ian McKellen in London. Look, is this 3D? Is this 48 frames per second? Anyway, my love to everybody. Peter, Fran, Philippa, all the cast, and my favourite dwarf, you know who you are, and the crew. I'll see you soon. Lots of love.
That was an amazing experience. God, my the adrenaline is still running.
Find the state.
First time I've seen the film with an audience, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how they respond. Katie here has been my companion on the red carpet. Thank heavens I had somebody to share it with. This is the little girl that was a tiny hobbit baby in the Fellowship of the Ring. In fact, you were listening to the story of the hobbits.
So there I was, at the mercy of 3 monstrous trolls.
So look, we're going to say goodbye now and have a fantastic holiday. Wonderful Christmas, everyone, and thanks for your support throughout the making of the first Hobbit movie, The Unexpected Journey. And you know what? We'll be back with our first blog for the second Hobbit movie. There's so much work ahead of us. But we will be back in the new year, and we will share the experiences of the second movie all the way through next year. So look forward to talking to you again. Bye. Bye.
And the small things keep the darkness at bay.
Me? No.
We'll reclaim our homeland.
The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey.
I play a character called Thorin Oakenshield, son of Thrain, son of Thror, the last king under the mountain. He is the living heir to the throne of Erebor. His father, Thrain, has disappeared on a mission 100 years ago to the day. He went back to try and claim Erebor and hasn't returned. He's seen a lot of action. He's seen many battles. He's a battle-hardened warrior. He is one of the few survivors of the dragon attack at Erebor. Himself and Balin are the only people that have that memory. He's also somebody that's led the refugees from Erebor to the Ered Luin, and they've rebuilt a kingdom and a nation, and they've had to go back to the anvil to do that. They've become blacksmiths again. So he's gone from prince to pauper, and has sort of made a good life for his people, and he's about to take back Erebor. He's about to take his dwarves back to their homeland. I think it's Gandalf that originally approached Thorin and says, you know, I've been thinking of Erebor and I want to talk to you about it. Which, of course, to somebody that is yearning for that moment, sits down and really converses with him. And I think when Gandalf invites the dwarves to Bag End, I don't actually believe in our version of the story that Gandalf has revealed that he has a map or a key. He's just said, look, this is going to be the place. We're going to find a burglar, come to Bag End at this time, and we'll make some plans. And I think that when Thorin arrives at Bag End, he really believes that there's going to be somebody there that will significantly alter the course of events, and he finds a hobbit who he doesn't believe can even lift an axe, let alone go into any kind of battle situation, which is what I think Thorin's expecting. So immediately his confidence in Gandalf is knocked, and I think he agrees to do it Gandalf's way because he won't leave without Gandalf, and I think that's crucial because Thorin really could have just said to his men, right, we're going to do this on our own, but there's something which stops him from doing that. There's a flame in him which is guttering, and it will go out if he doesn't go on this quest, and he will die and fade away. And that line of Durin will never reclaim that kingdom. And he feels that if he doesn't do this now, it's 100 years to the day that his father disappeared, and he's never heard of him since. And if he doesn't do this now, that it will never happen. So that is quite a serious endeavour to assume. And I think that in that respect, the way that he approaches that with such seriousness, you could say he is his own worst enemy, but I think I would probably do the same.
He has maybe a softer side than a lot of the rest of them that he's prepared to show, I think. Certainly in this first block of filming that we've done, he has befriended the Hobbit himself, Bilbo, quite a lot. I think he looks out for him a bit, looks after him, and cares about him. So I think it's hopefully a mixture of the rough, the honest, but also maybe the caring.
He is brother of Dwalin, elder brother of Dwalin, and they join Thorin Oakenshield. They become part of the company who go to take back Erebor.
They're stubborn, loyal, prone to violence, and have an insatiable appetite for other people's food. They're kind of like a unique tribe, I think, in any world, never mind Middle-earth. And they're the kind of people you'd want on your side in a fight. Definitely.
Ik feed Orsu Kazad. That means feel the fire of the dwarves. Because, as you know, I play Biffa, and Biffa has a unfortunate head wound, which means he has a kind of a foreign language syndrome, and he can only speak in Khuzdul, which is the ancient dwarvish language.
I just love the fact that he's a massive unit, and he's just completely comfortable. You know, he's just completely comfortable with who he is. He loves his food. He loves to cook, and he's really enjoying the adventure. He is the elder brother of Kelly, and Kelly and Philly make up the younger dwarves that are part of the entourage. And we go on the journey with the rest of the dwarves to take back the treasure from Erebor. Philly's character, he is the nephew of Thorin. We became more like, rather than friends or working partners, we became almost like this weird kind of family, or like sort of brothers in a way, that we'd bicker sometimes, we would have a bit of a joking around, we'd hassle somebody, or somebody would say this, but it was always done with sort of a certain amount of affection, because we'd just go through this sort of shared journey together.
To a certain degree, it's their untold destiny to travel to the Lonely Mountain and to reclaim their lost treasure and their lost gold and possibly their homestead. And I guess to a certain, it's a lot of it is for pride, I think. Apart from the fact that obviously material goods is something that the dwarves are almost semi-obsessed with. But it's something they just need to do, and again we spoke about it, like a lot of these songs and accounts of people. I'm sure they've been brought up with all these stories of battles and lost and won. But now it's I guess it's just this what do you call it, portentous thing where they just it's in the air that they need to do this and get it back, and I guess it's for the survival of their own race.
He is one of the firelighters, for instance, with his brother Gloin, and Gloin is a little bit younger than me. I think he feels he needs to keep an eye on me because I'm a little bit hard of hearing. So if we are being attacked, for instance, I may not be the first person to know we're being attacked. So an elbow in the ribs from my brother is very useful.
Yeah, I'm the father of Gimli. So people, I'm sure, will spot the similarities, and hopefully the right sort of stuff is being passed on as well, literally in terms of the weapon, the axe. And so that being connected to that part of the story has been great.
The great thing about the cast that we have is they're all very gifted actors in their own right, and they've done a lot of theatre and a lot of film and television, and I've seen them on TV and I've seen them on film, and you have a kind of respect for them regardless of whether you work with them or not. We've got an ensemble that just clicked from day one.
I think Dory gives him the benefit of the doubt from the fact there must be something about this guy. But if Thorin Oakenshield thinks that he should come, and Gandalf thinks he should come, I guess that's the overriding fact on, okay, well, let's just see what this little guy's made of.
The 14th member of the company is Bilbo Baggins. And I would say the dwarves are pretty unsure about why we have a hobbit going on our journey with us.
I found the small things to keep the darkness at bay.
Me? No.
We'll reclaim our homeland.
The Hobbit, an unexpected journey.
The Hobbit is a story that is a more innocent story, if you like, but a lot of the events of The Hobbit are actually setting up and establishing forces at work which are later going to be, are going to be big players in The Lord of the Rings. And so, it works on its own level. It has its own narrative, its own story, which is fantastic, and it also establishes a world that, is later developed in The Lord of the Rings. The casting of Bilbo was absolutely essential because, if that character didn't work, the film wasn't going to work. I mean, it was the most important piece of casting. And we always wanted Martin Freeman.
One of the things is that Bilbo is a hard character to play. Martin makes it look deceptively easy, but you need an actor with a great range who can play not just comedy, but drama in a very real way. But you also needed someone who could be immediately likeable to the audience, and that's what he brings. I think most importantly, Martin has that quality. He's immediately accessible. He can be vulnerable at the same time as being staunch and strong. He can be funny at the same time as having pathos in there. So all of those qualities told us that this was Bilbo Baggins.
Feely and Keely, at your service. You must be Mr. Boggins.
No, you can't come in. You come to the wrong house.
What? Has it been cancelled? No one told us.
No, nothing's been cancelled.
That's a relief. Careful with these. We've just had them sharpened. It's nice, this place. Did you do it yourself?
Well, no, it's been in the family for years. That's my mother's glory box. Can you please not do that?
Keely, come on. Give us a hand. Mr. Dwellin.
Well, shove this in the hole, otherwise we'll never get everyone in.
Hey, everyone? How many more are there?
Where do you want this?
Oh, no. No, there's nobody home! Go away and bother somebody else! There's far too many dwarves in my dining room as it is. If this is some clothead's idea of a joke, I can only say it is in very poor taste.
Gandalf. You know, for Bilbo to open the door of his house and see a dwarf standing there, the first one he sees there is Dwalin, who's this huge mountain of a dwarf. He's never seen anything like it, you know. It's, it would be like in 30s England seeing a Maasai warrior appearing at your door or something. Just like, you know, like he knows they exist. He's read about them because he's interested in everyone in Middle-earth and everything in Middle-earth. And I think he's interested in the history and the different cultures of it. But he's not actually had to sit down and break bread with one.
The Hobbit is an adventure story, and the person who goes on the adventure is the Hobbit. He's rather bullied into it by a wizard who thinks he knows best. And no sooner has Gandalf cast his young friend Bilbo to accompany the dwarves on their quest, then he worries whether he's made the right decision or not, and he's constantly keeping a protective eye open to Bilbo's progress. But he senses, I think, that Bilbo is the person who is needed to help the dwarves accomplish their ends.
Give him a contract.
Warren, please.
We're off. It's just the usual summary of out-of-pocket expenses, time required, remuneration, funeral arrangements, so forth.
Funeral arrangements?
Oh. Up to, but not exceeding 1/14 of total profit, if any. Seems fair. Present company shall not be liable for injuries inflicted by or sustained as a consequence thereof, including but not limited to lacerations, evisceration, incineration.
Oh, aye, I'll melt the flesh off your bones in the blink of an eye.
You all right, laddie?
Yeah. Feel a bit faint. Think furnace with wings. I need air.
Flash of light, searing pain, then poof! You're nothing more than a cloud of ash.
No. We join Bilbo in this as the book The Hobbit does, as a kind of home-loving, fairly solitary, middle-aged hobbit who has his home comforts and he doesn't really go outside of those. He's got a very, very full pantry. He's got quite a full wardrobe, and he knows where he is. He's respected in Hobbiton. He's set in his ways, you know. He's got his routine and he likes it, and he sees no reason why it should be upset. Like, why on earth would you which is a very reasonable stance. Why would you put yourself knowingly in danger, in physical harm? Which brings us to the question, why does he go then? You know? And of course, why he goes is because he knows he will never ever have another opportunity like this. You know, he doesn't want to end up 100 years old going, why did I never take that opportunity? You know.
Was that a wolf? Are there wolves out there? Wolves? No, that is not a wolf.
Scouts. Which means an orc pack is not far behind. Orc pack? Who did you tell about your quest beyond your kin? No one. Who did you tell? No one, I swear. What in dirty's name is going on? You are being hunted.
So there's a sort of a raucous quality to them that, is the way that they let off steam. And they enjoy doing that. They're equally good at enjoying letting off steam in the pub as they are fighting orcs in battle.
There's something about dwarves. Tolkien describes them as a secretive race. They're very close-knit. So, they might fight passionately amongst each other, but if you're an outsider and you take on one of them, you take on all of them. And we love that spirit. So we love the notion of within the group there's tensions and arguments, but in the end, you can't break them. You can't break that bond that they have. And they will rise together and they will fall together.
Go. And go to the right, yeah. The visual effects on The Hobbit have certainly advanced a lot in the 10 years since we did The Lord of the Rings. I always had a desire to want to do digital orcs and goblins back in the Lord of the Rings days, but it wasn't practical. We did Gollum as a digital character, and in a way that was groundbreaking at that time. But the last 10 years, things have advanced so quickly, and we have completely digital characters now all over the place.
Is it crazy? What?
I've been saying it.
I wasn't talking to you. Shut up. No. Where's Precious? What is it? Precious, what is it?
I'm Bilbo Baggins.
Baggins? What's it? Baggins.
I'm a hobbit from the Shire.
Oh, we like goblins and bats and fishes, but we hasn't tried hobbits before.
Peter was the reason that I was so excited about being part of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And of course, Galadriel's just a tiny, weeny piece of the puzzle. And it's such an extraordinary puzzle that really, I don't think anyone other than Peter could have pulled that together. He's got such an extraordinary sense of the sublimely beautiful and the grotesque. And I think the way he combines those two things is utterly unique.
Inside Peter Jackson, that you have to have an iron will, even though the outside is almost at times cuddly.
That's not wrong, is it? Thank you very much. Thank you. Good, thank you.
Pete's kind of an incredible man because he's dealing with so many issues and such the big picture, but he's also at ground level creating smaller pictures, the minutiae of each character and the details of each location and set and world within the larger framework of the world and all the different departments and things. So that's how he works from day to day, dealing with all those little things. So in a way, that perfectly suits his fantastic character.
For fans of Tolkien in general, and I think it's just going to get people really excited. There are just so many little subtle moments and beginnings. It's the beginnings of the pieces of the puzzle that lead to the great fight for Middle-earth. And it's done so, it's woven in so organically and beautifully. It's radical.
And for the fans of the book, I hope these films are a return to a world that they've missed, a world that is both familiar but also entirely unexpected.
Far to the east, over ranges and rivers, lies a single solitary peak. The dwarves are determined to reclaim their homeland.
I like visitors as much as the next hobbit. But I do like to know them before they come visiting.
Mr. Baggins, at your service.
I'm surrounded by dwarves. What are they doing here?
Oh, they're quite a merry gathering. So, this is the Hobbit. You asked me to find the 14th member of this company, and I have chosen Mr. Baggins.
Me? No.
Hobbits can pass unseen by most if they choose, which gives us a distinct advantage.
We'll seize this chance to take back Erebor!
Here, Mr. Bilbo! Where are you off to? I'm going on an adventure!
Mithrandir, why the halfling?
Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it is because I'm afraid. And it gives me courage.
So this is your purpose, to enter the mountain?
What of it?
There are some who would not deem it wise.
The dark part has found a way back into the world.
Why don't we have a game of riddles?
And if it loses, what then? Well, if it loses, precious, then we eat it. If Baggins loses, we eat it whole.
Fair enough.
I will take each and every one of these dwarves over the mightiest army. Loyalty, honor, a willing heart. I can ask no more than that. Home is now behind you. The world is ahead.
Well, that could have been worse.
You've got to be stronger! I found the small things keep the darkness at bay.
Me? No.
We'll reclaim our homeland.
The Hobbit, an unexpected journey.
The Hobbit is an adventure story, and the person who goes on the adventure is the Hobbit. He's rather bullied into it by a wizard who thinks he knows best. And no sooner has Gandalf cast his young friend Bilbo to accompany the dwarves on their quest, then he worries whether he's made the right decision or not, and he's constantly keeping a protective eye open to Bilbo's progress. But he senses, I think, that Bilbo is the person who is needed to help the dwarves accomplish their ends. He thinks it would be good for, as he says to Bilbo, for him to discover. Not discover things through books and maps, enjoyable as that is, but discover things on the road. Climb to the top of that mountain, have a look. In the book, The Hobbit, and in the film, Gandalf comes and goes. He's in the centre of the action, and then he withdraws. He's got a job to do. And in the film, we often find out what that job is. But he's in and out of the progression of the dwarves towards the mountain, and the treasure and the dragon.
We join Bilbo in this as the book The Hobbit does, as a kind of home-loving, fairly solitary, middle-aged hobbit who has his home comforts and he doesn't really go outside of those. He's got a very, very full pantry. He's got quite a full wardrobe, and he knows where he is. He's respected in Hobbiton. He's set in his ways, you know. He's got his routine and he likes it, and he sees no reason why it should be upset. Like, why on earth would you which is a very reasonable stance. Why would you put yourself knowingly in danger, in physical harm? Which brings us to the question, why does he go then? You know, and of course, why he goes is because he knows he will never ever have another opportunity like this. You know, he doesn't want to end up 100 years old going, why did I never take that opportunity? You know. You know, for Bilbo to open the door of his house and see a dwarf standing there, the first one he sees there is Dwalin, who's this huge mountain of a dwarf. He's never seen anything like it, you know. It's it would be like in 30s England seeing a Maasai warrior appearing at your door or something. Just like, you know, like he knows they exist. He's read about them because he's interested in everyone in Middle Earth and everything in Middle Earth. And I think he's interested in the history and the different cultures of it. But he's not actually had to sit down and break bread with one. When they're in Bag End, of all the dwarves, I would say Thorin is the most suspicious or the most sceptical of Bilbo. And Bilbo's suitability to come on this journey. The rest of them might think he's a bit of an idiot, you know, or whatever, but I think Thorin thinks he's an absolute liability, you know.
I play a character called Thorin Oakenshield, son of Thrain, son of Thror, the last king under the mountain. He is the living heir to the throne of Erebor. His father, Thrain, has disappeared on a mission 100 years ago to the day. He went back to try and claim Erebor and hasn't returned. He's seen a lot of action. He's seen many battles. He's a battle-hardened warrior. He is one of the few survivors of the dragon attack at Erebor. Himself and Balin are the only people that have that memory. He's also somebody that's led the refugees from Erebor to the Ered Luin, and they've rebuilt a kingdom and a nation, and they've had to go back to the anvil to do that. They've become blacksmiths again. So he's gone from prince to pauper, and has sort of made a good life for his people, and he's about to take back Erebor. He's about to take his dwarves back to their homeland. I think it's Gandalf that originally approached Thorin and says, you know, I've been thinking of Erebor and I want to talk to you about it. Which, of course, to somebody that is yearning for that moment, it sits down and really converses with him. And I think when Gandalf invites the dwarves to Bag End, I don't actually believe in our version of the story that Gandalf has revealed that he has a map or a key. He's just said, look, this is going to be the place. We're going to find a burglar, come to Bag End at this time, and we'll make some plans. And I think that when Thorin arrives at Bag End, he really believes that there's going to be somebody there that will significantly alter the course of events, and he finds a hobbit who he doesn't believe can even lift an axe, let alone go into any kind of battle situation, which is what I think Thorin's expecting. So immediately his confidence in Gandalf is knocked, and I think he agrees to do it Gandalf's way because he won't leave without Gandalf, and I think that's crucial because Thorin really could have just said to his men, right, we're going, we're going to do this on our own, but there's something which stops him from doing that. It is like walking into the universe of Middle-earth. It's so incredible, the detail in that place. I could spend hours and hours and hours looking through books and going into all the rooms. But yeah, I don't think dwarves were very comfortable in Bag End at all. It was too small and too hot, and the food was good. I'd definitely book in again for the food, but I didn't really want to stay that long. And the host was a bit of a whinger, and he fainted as well, so it wasn't a good start.
I had no expectation that anything more than the extraordinary films of the Lord of the Rings, that was sort of the end of the journey. I mean, my time there was all too brief in Lothlorien. I was there for 3 or 4 weeks, and they shot for such a long time. And so when I heard that Peter and Fran and Filippo were going to embark upon The Hobbit, I was a stalker, and I literally, I called my agent and I don't bother my agent much, but I called her pretty much every day to say, is there any word yet? Is Galadriel going to be in it? And I kept getting the answer that Peter doesn't know yet. Because, of course, Galadriel doesn't appear very much in The Hobbit, so I was hoping against hope. And then when I got word that, in fact, she would be in a small section of it, I was over the moon. It was a little bit like returning to summer camp. You know, so many of the people who were part of the first journey are part of this journey, and it's an amazing thing to be able to return to something that was begun 12 years ago.
Gollum had obviously, you know, been such an important role and never really gone away, and I'd been constantly reminded of him as a character practically every day of my life since Lord of the Rings. But actually to really re-engage and go back in there and actually think I'm actually going to play you again was quite a sort of strange feeling, really. The way that the scene is written is that Smeagol gets, you know, Gollum just wants to kill this thing for meat. He's fed up with not having anything proper to eat. You know, it's just disgusting, you know, goblin bones basically, and with no meat on. And suddenly this, you know, he says this, you know, a meaty mouthful turns up, is the word he uses, you know, and Smeagol is suddenly very excited about the possibility of food. It's all about when are we going to eat, you know. But then he gets completely diverted by the riddles. The childlike side of Smeagol, who has craved conversation with someone else apart from Gollum, suddenly gets asked to play games, and he's over the moon. And so this battle then ensues between Gollum, who's just like, get the games over with. I don't care about the games. I want to get onto the killing part.
We want The Hobbit to be a visual experience that goes several steps beyond Lord of the Rings.
Fans of The Hobbit, they're going to get so much more. You'll get taken on an amazing ride.
So, this is The Hobbit. I cannot guarantee his safety. Understood.
You will see more of Middle-earth than you've ever seen before.
I think that people will see more than once. I know I will.
When we made The Lord of the Rings, I was absolutely sure that was going to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I never realised that 10 years later, we were doing it all over again. We actually shot for 266 days on The Hobbit, which was exactly the same number of days that we shot on The Lord of the Rings. So I've sort of done the once-in-a-lifetime experience twice, but not a third time. There won't be a third time.
It was a little bit like returning to summer camp. You know, so many of the people who were part of the first journey are part of this journey. Now it's all coming back.
It was extraordinary coming back onto set with those same people. You looked around at all the faces in the crew and thought, here we go.
The same creative talent. 20 or 30 of the most senior people were Lord of the Rings veterans.
What would have thought it would ever have happened again? I know. To have a chance to return, pop the wig on, and the feet on, it kind of feels like I've stepped into a time machine. And I get to meet all of these other actors who are coming along for the real long journey, and sort of seeing in them a little bit what we felt like when we started.
The Hobbit is actually Professor Tolkien's most beloved book, and it's your first introduction to Middle-earth for a lot of readers.
The story of The Hobbit takes place 60 years before the events in The Lord of the Rings.
Bilbo Baggins. I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
We join Bilbo, as the book The Hobbit does, as a kind of home-loving, fairly solitary hobbit
They like their comfort, they like their food, and they treat strangers with suspicion. So the worst thing that could happen in Bilbo Baggins' life is to suddenly be dragged off into a dangerous adventure.
Mr. Baggins, at your service.
Fortune comes knocking on his door in the shape of 13 dwarves.
Far to the east, over ranges and rivers, lies a single solitary peak.
The dwarf's home is called Erebor, otherwise known as the Lonely Mountain. When you enter, you're in the middle of this vast subterranean palace carved out of solid rock.
Gold and jewels were the resource on which they built their dwarf kingdom.
There was this huge amount of gold which attracted the dragon Smaug.
Dwarves try to defend Erebor, but there's nothing they can do. Erebor is literally ripped apart.
Since then, the dwarves have been a wandering people, and many of us have been homeless.
We will seize this chance to take back Erebor!
The dwarves that turn up at Bag End are the only volunteers that have decided to back this quest. 13 people.
You asked me to find the 14th member of this company, and I have chosen Mr. Baggins.
Me? No. The one thing with hobbits is that they are very stealthy, and that's exactly the quality that Gandalf the Wizard is looking for.
You have a tale or two to tell when you come back.
Can you promise that I will come back?
No.
Which brings us to the question, why does he go then? And, of course, why he goes is because he knows he will never, ever have another opportunity like this.
Wait!
Whoa.
Welcome, Master Baggins, to the company of Thorin Oakenshield.
Thorin is a direct descendant of a line of kings that stretches almost back to the beginnings of the dwarvish race itself.
He's gone from prince to pauper, and he's a battle-hardened warrior. He has a fierce sense of honour, but he's been hardened by life, so his outer shell is pretty impenetrable.
The dwarves, they're an incredibly proud race. They have a fire in their blood. They would unnervingly take on any race.
They're the kind of people you'd want on your side in a fight.
We are very loyal, and we would do anything for our brothers.
They're very passionate, and they laugh 1 minute and then they fight the next minute, and then they're like hugging the next minute. So they're very, they're up front with their emotions.
One of the scary things about adapting The Hobbit is the fact there's 13 dwarves. And differentiating those characters was important.
Ne igrit fund. Like he said, never trust an elf.
In the book, it's really only 3 or 4 of the dwarves that are kind of expanded in any real way. Gimli in the first film has a very distinctive look, but when you have 13 dwarves in scenes, if they all look the same, it's going to be very difficult for the watching audience.
Everyone is very different in a very individual way. It's, I'm glad I didn't have to do anything. I just stick on the costume, thank God.
I think it's probably a couple of thousand drawings were made. Millions of different ideas, running all over the place.
If they were all standing on a mountainside, you had to know who they were, just from the shape.
That's great. This is the best part of the whole job.
You're not funny. It's supposed to be a light spritz. No.
It is. Oh, no. Each dwarf has his own look and his own style and their own weapons.
Shut your mouth!
We managed to invent all kinds of interesting methods of warfare. Some fun, some lethal, or some fun, but all lethal.
In the end, he fell in love with each and every one of those characters. And as much as there's a little bit of dwarf in Peter, I think there's a little bit of Peter in all those dwarves.
There we go, rotate.
The wonderful thing about Peter and his team is that they make it the book and something else.
People always say, well, it's this very relatively slight novel, and so how come it's 3 movies? The Hobbit was almost a lifetime's work for Tolkien.
We went into the appendices, which you find at the end of The Lord of the Rings, and you learn very specifically about events that occurred in The Hobbit.
We're actually expanding The Hobbit, but using Tolkien's notes in the appendices very much as our blueprint.
Gandalf, where are you going?
Gandalf in The Hobbit, he's often away doing other business, and quite what that is not revealed in the novel. In the films, we get to see what Gandalf was up to when he wasn't on the journey.
Tolkien, he created a whole world, the different creatures or people who live in that world, and real history stretching back thousands of years.
There's going to be some new characters that are part of Tolkien's story that people haven't thought about.
Dark power has found a way back into the world.
Excitement looms.
Well, Radagast is a wizard. One of the 5.
We know that he's an animal-loving, forest-dwelling wizard. Your mind instantly goes to a ragged hermit-type figure.
But he loves the animals and the birds in the bushes. I'll throw them off! Go!
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Radagast, he's all here in his heart. Just not perhaps quite all there.
The trees! They're diseased!
Radagast discovers that something's going wrong in his immaculate forest. Trees are dying, animals are dying. Something's wrong, something's terribly wrong.
Middle-earth seems to be just beginning to rumble and tumble.
For 400 years we have lived in peace.
Are we at peace? Orcs attacked us on the road.
As part of the expanded Middle-earth universe, Tolkien came up with the idea of the White Council, which is the United Nations of Middle-earth to some degree.
Gandalf, Elrond, Galadriel, Saruman, they play a role in illuminating those sort of broader political landscape.
The White Council, they represent enormous power. There's suspicion amongst all of them that there's this building power of evil getting stronger and stronger.
It has to be more than just the dwarves' quest, because their quest is being affected by Middle-earth events and the rise of evil.
Seeds being planted for what eventually becomes the time period that we meet in Lord of the Rings, that lead to the great fight for Middle-earth.
If you watch then this suite of films in their entirety, it's wonderful that Peter's able to weave those subtle connections between the films.
One of my favourites is an older Bilbo telling children the tale of his run-in with 3 large mountain trolls.
So there I was, at the mercy of 3 monstrous trolls.
The great thing about The Hobbit is we get to see it.
Bilbo's encounter with the 3 trolls, William, Bert and Tom, is one of the most iconic passages from the book, and it was something we were really looking forward to bringing to the screen.
3 of us dwarves, Mark, myself and William, are portraying the trolls as well.
There were 3-4 days there with Peter on the mocap studio, and we had a tremendous time there, just being in our grey suits.
Are we having horse tonight or what? Shut your cake hole.
You're like a really dysfunctional group of 3 flatmates.
Directing was partly the same, really, apart from the fact that the actors looked rather silly. I mean, who would want to walk around all day with a camera pointed right at their nose?
The process of getting the trolls animated, we take the data that's been tracked from the mocap stage, and then we started refining that motion, and it was the first time we saw trolls actually verbalising.
Now, are there any more of you little fellas hiding where you shouldn't? Make him squeal!
Out of this colourful group of dwarves and wizards and his elves. And the story of The Hobbit is to take Bilbo, as played by Martin Freeman, the young, conservative, very safety-conscious Bilbo, and to see him transform.
I have never used a sword in my life. He finds a bravery that he didn't know he had, and he finds a sort of nobility that he didn't know he had, and none of the others knew he had.
Throughout the course of the quest, Bilbo surprises the dwarves at every stage.
Bilbo goes on the journey, and he's changed forever.
Forest.
Yes, and I want to get unlost as soon as possible.
Now keep.
I'll use this if I have
I can't wait to see that beautiful book that Tolkien wrote in 1937 come alive for people.
There's a team here
that have their heart and soul into creating something very, very special.
We all have this common goal. We want this to be a film that has this lasting impact on people because it is such a good story.
Whatever age you are, trying to remember the sense of awe you had as a child, hopefully you will leave with that awe firmly in place.
It's magic. Pure magic. And you believe it.
Going back to Middle Earth, probably for the last time on the big screen, is going to be a huge thrill.
For the fans, these films are a return to a world that is both familiar but also entirely unexpected.
I'm going on an adventure!
Step into the world, step into Middle Earth, come on this adventure with us.
Hello to all my fans in China. Da Zhao Hao. It's been several years since the Lord of the Rings films, and I'm very happy now to present to the Chinese audience my new film, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. This film has a wonderful assortment of characters, some new and some you'll instantly recognise. Big action, great fun, and fantastic sights and sounds. All of which is meant to be experienced on the... We hope you will catch it when it opens in theatres in China. Thank you.